gathered here today to celebrate and to mourn Woody's life and his death. I'd like to start out with a thing called Next Door. I am walking down the corridors of my life. There's a door ahead of me, dividing this part from the next. There had been many doors before, so many kinds of doors. Some were fast closed and some demanded struggle to open. Some were far ajar and inviting and gentle push to open them. Some were massive and dark in structure and forbidding and fearsome. Some were transparent, translucent, and the light streamed through. Some doors withstood all my strength and other shoulders helped. Some resisted all our combined efforts and were opened from within. Some were locked and there was no key, and I turned back and went another way. To find still another door, unexpected but oftentimes for the best. All those doors led to a new and different part of life. Now another door, I do not fear if I but stretch forth my hands to open that door and enter into the next part of the corridor of my life. And the scriptures are reading today are precious to Marilyn and to Woody, and they've been given to me. Psalms 1:16 through 15. Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his saints. And John 3:17 through 18. For God sent the Son into the world not to condemn the world, but the world might be saved through him. He who believes in him is not condemned, but he who does not believe is condemned already, because he has not believed in the name of the Son, only Son of God. In Isaiah 25:8a, he will swallow death up forever, and the Lord God will wipe away the tears from all faces. In Revelations 21:3 through 5, I heard a great voice on the throne saying, Behold, the dwelling of God is with men. He will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. And God himself shall be with them, and he will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and death will be no more. Neither shall there be mourning, nor crying, nor pain any more, for the former things have passed away. And he who sat upon the throne said, Behold, I make all things new. In John 11:25 through 26, Jesus said, I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me, though he die, shall he live. And whosoever lives and believes in me shall never die. And let us stand together and sing Hymn Under His Wings. You find the insert in your bulletin. We often come to worship. We take note there are flowers on the altar. Things are as they should be. We are comforted to know that it's not going to be any different this week. It's the same as always. There's flowers on the altar. We appreciate the flowers as part of the service that we expect. And then we go and visit with our friends. But today's arrangement reflects Woody's life. Notice the arrangement is very carefully structured. If you knew Woody, Woody was very carefully structured. The plant materials are not placed haphazardly. They're placed with care and with love. Woody's life was care and love and very carefully structured. The plant material is chosen to complement rather than disrupt the total effect of the finished product. If you knew Woody, he would choose things would be in order so they would complement each other and not disrupt what would be called even or normal. Normal is a bad word. Even. So now we are aware of a carefully structured framework. Notice the plant materials of various sizes and colors and shapes and textures. It's not all the same. Because of the many factors in the arrangements, we get a feeling of excitement. We get a feeling of peace. And the only way I can describe it is we get a feeling of security and continuity. The color makes the design pop. But without the other factors of size and shape and placement and texture, the arrangement would be dull, boring, and resulting in no stimulation or reaction from the viewer other than yuck. And I've seen some of those designs, I've even made them. Woody's life was a life of variety of color and texture and structure. His life was structured and precise. This does not mean that his life is not without surprises. As we all know, over the years, many of the altar arrangements that Woody brought to us, the worship service, were refreshing, with different types of plant materials, but always the triangular floral design as you see today. One Sunday we came, Woody brought an entirely different floral arrangement using Bird of Paradise. After the service he came out to me and said he was so excited, he was beside himself because he had made a creative design outside of his box. He was thrilled. And I think that surprised even himself, that the thrill and the success of this inspiring design. We need to take a lesson from that. It is good to risk. It is good to take a chance. It is good to experiment and be excited because we find every now and then we are more than we think we are, and we're more than we ever realized. Woody could do many things. He just needed to put his mind to it. Woody's life is reflected in his floral work, of which he is greatly talented. It is also manifested in his commitment to his church and to the community. I know Woody best through the church. I only know rumors of what he did in the community. Some we cannot repeat here. We've listed a few of Woody's contributions and involvements that have touched our lives. He was Bloom in the Desert's Ministries' third treasurer. I don't know what happened to the other two. Maybe they're in jail yet. I don't know. He served the longest period of time, not in jail, but in the office of treasurer for 4 years. He was the first live musician to perform at Bloom in the Desert Ministries worship service with his Wallenstock tape recorder to accompany him. Now those of you who are post-Sputnik probably don't know what that is. That's a tape-to-tape recorder. Woody started to attend Bloom early in its existence. Beyond and before Woody was very involved in the community, wherever music was involved, there was Woody. He was also a businessman and ran a floral shop for many years. And I can imagine going into that shop and deciding what you wanted. He would be right there to show you, help you, and convince you that this is what you needed. Because that's what you do in a floral shop. He was active and served as an officer in the Floral Association, which is not a small accomplishment if you be there. Woody was a floral critic. He was an evaluator of floral arrangements. One Sunday he came up to me and said, "I know that was your design. Everything went this way and that way." Woody would have made a good flower show judge. But even this morning, as the design was up earlier, I was criticizing it because there was a space between the second and the first part of the flowers. So that's why it's gone. Let us take from Woody's life the possibilities for our own lives. Let's take advantage of opportunities to share with each other, the community and the world, as Woody did. Let us be structured in faith and love and flexible in ideas and thinking, constantly exploring, relating, and calling attention to the needs and the hope of all that are around us and will be coming after us. And just to clear your minds up, the first arrangement, I made it so I could criticize it. Death is a mystery. Life is an opportunity with lifetime constraints. Life on earth is limited. Use it, love it, experience it, and above all, embrace it in all its beauty, all its color, all its texture, all its relationships. And do not fear death, but embrace life. Amen. like to announce there will be a light meal after the service ends. And we'll take some time now for anyone who wishes to speak in memory of Woody. You either may do so standing or come up here and use the mic. So at this time, if anyone wishes to speak, let them do so.
My name is Ron Meyer, and I came to this church about 3 years ago, and like most of you that have run into Woody know that he was very welcoming. My vision of Woody in heaven now is that all sandwiches will be in order and counted perfectly. But also that St. Peter will put him to work, and that the gates will be now more beautifully adorned than ever before, with gladiolas and sunflowers. And there will be a one-man welcoming committee for all those who are lost and can't find their way, who don't think they belong there. Woody will say, as we heard in the music this morning, we are all children of God. And Woody, with that everlasting kindness and eternal smile that he had, will make sure that all are welcome there. I thank God for knowing Woody the short time that I did, as I know all of you have. Thank you.
I'm Plato Yannicks, mother-in-law of Woody Miller. Woody was one of the most talented individuals I've ever met. Seems like Woody could do anything. With his smile, he automatically touched you. Couldn't help but feel that he cared about you. Woody not only was an outstanding decorator, he also was an upholsterer, a carpenter of fine furniture. He was a handyman. He could do, you give him a task, he could do it. He could manage people. People energized him. And the reason we see this crowd here today is that he loved people, and you couldn't help but love Woody. A people person, love showed right through him to you. How can we ever forget Woody? He touched all of us. He made an impact on every one of us here today. And God bless Woody for the impact and love he showed us. We can't forget a person like that. Woody Miller, thank the Lord for your life here on this earth.
Very special friend to me for many, many years. Being a fellow florist, I can appreciate everything that you said about him. Sorry. He will leave a very empty space in my life when I come to Palm Springs. But he always had that smile when I come here. And I attended a service one time where the preacher said, "Don't imagine that they've left us, they've merely caught the flight before us." And if you all know Woody, I'm always chronically late, so I would definitely be able to say that Woody would be right now going, "I told you, see, if you got organized, we'd be there." But special person.
Kilgus is a member of our congregation, and many of you know he is in Rhode Island for the summer. He wanted me to read a short couple sentences that he sent. Fred considers himself an active and committed member of Bloom, and he's here as a member because Woody invited him. It's hard to define just what our legacy is or will be, but his participation, Fred, at Bloom is a small part of Woody's legacy, and I thank him for the joy I experience here and for the close and dear friends I would never have found had I not received his invitation, and also for the meaningful dimension which Bloom gives me life here in Palm Springs. Thanks to Woody.
I came to Bloom going on 2 years ago, and when I came, Woody was ill, and he did have his up times and his down times. And in church one Sunday, it was one of his down times. And he reached out to me, he touched me as I was going by, and he says, "Marilyn, do you know anybody who could help me? Because when I'm gone, I'm so afraid for Tucker." When we don't have children, we wrap our arms around the animals we do have. And that was his big, big concern. I do have a group of people who are advocates like myself. And Marilyn, if you need any help with Tucker, if you have not made arrangements, we can help you. But I want everybody to know that the Rainbow Bridge, where the animals go, is not just for animals. We cross that bridge and we wait, just as the animals wait. And Woody is up there, and he is going to one day see Tucker coming across that bridge. And there is going to be joy all over again.
Daniel, I don't think I can add much more to what everybody else has said, except Woody and I have been friends for over 35 years. He was a true friend, a dedicated friend, and he was always willing to listen to your problems and give advice. And he was always there in my darkest moments. For that, I've always been grateful. We always did not see eye to eye, but we still remained friends. He loved playing Skippo, but he did not like me beating him. Thank you.
I'm Jim Nixon, member of Bloom and the treasurer. I've stepped into some big shoes. As you heard, Woody was our third treasurer for 4 years. I don't think we could find anyone to fill his shoes after the third year term ended, so we extended it a year. When I started coming to this church, I started to realize who the movers and shakers were. And it was obvious that Woody was one of those people. He was very well organized. He took pride in everything he did. I was in awe of the floral arrangements that he would show up with, food that he brought, and I was sort of intimidated when I signed up for flowers because I would come in sort of hoping Woody wouldn't be here, but then grateful that he was because he could just make a couple of minor adjustments to my haphazard arrangement and all of a sudden everything related. So, and he was very kind about it. And I always remember what he said. He said, "Jim, it's not about the vase. It's not about the vase." And I always thought if you had a nice vase, they would overlook the fly. He was a little bit kinder to me.
I'm David Morris, and I remember Woody for his compassion and the generosity that he showed to Bloom. I also remember him as someone who was free with his opinion and someone who called things as he saw them. I arrived to this room one Sunday morning, and there was a arrangement of flowers here on the worship center, and Woody was standing in the back of the room rubbing his chin. And I said, "Woody, what do you think?" And he said, "I think if you sent a small child out to the ditch with a bucket, they'd probably come back with something better than this."
Everyone, I'm John DiNapoli, one of the members here at Bloom. When I think of Woody, and every time I see Woody, I think you'd agree, it is that smile and that light that just beamed that would come out of him. When you'd see him, he was always so excited to see you. And so I was thinking of that. I wrote a very short poem to honor him today. Salute this lasting day, for now thou must depart our way. Rejoice the work which you have done, all we for whom it was begun. Our doubts, our fears you washed away, and leaves us fresh this parting day. You lit the path we tread upon, which we no more shall walk alone. Bright torch which shined for us to see, go forth and ever shining be. And when in future need of rays, do simply we need sing your praise.
I'm going to Elliott Ford. I was Woody's neighbor for as long as he was there. I was there. We both moved in about the same time. I traveled a lot, and Woody always took care of my plants, so I wouldn't have to worry about anything like that. and it was great. And I remember one time when I was gone at Christmas time, and I came back just before Christmas Day, and my whole house was decorated. He had gotten a Christmas tree, and, excuse me, and he had my table all decorated. And he did such a beautiful job. I was just astounded, to come home with no Christmas decorations at all. And here it was just, and there were lights here and there were lights there. He was so thoughtful. And the flowers that he no longer needed, that he did for people, he would bring them over and put them on my cedar chest. I'd had a lot of health problems over the years, and he was so gracious. He was so wonderful, and he was just, I couldn't have asked for a better neighbor. And I'll miss him, and I know he's in a better place because I watched him suffer. And I'm grateful to be here.
Let us take these memories and these thoughts, put them in our hearts, but don't put a lock on it. Put in our hearts that we may also go forth into the world, release them, make a world a better place in memory of Woody. Rev Kev left a prayer that he wanted me to say for you today, to give for you today. It's called Prayers for Family and Friends. Great God of all mystery and certainty, if in the presence of death the thoughts of Woody's family and friends are startled and their words flutter about like frightened birds, bring them stillness and assurance that they may cover the sorrow of their hearts with folded hands as in prayers. Give them peace to wait on your comfort with patience. You are nearer to them than they know, closer than they can imagine. If they cannot find you, it is because, like so many do, they search in far places. But you are close now. Before they felt pain, you suffered it. Before the burden came upon them, your strength lifted it. Before sorrow darkened their hearts, you were grieved. As you walk with them in the valley of every shadow, be their good shepherd and sustain them while they walk with you. Through the pain of loss is real and present, keep them in your way and sustain them in the brilliance of your true love and eternal welcome for all. Amen. Let us all stand together, join hands, and repeat the Lord's Prayer together.
Afraid.